Welcome to Lost Chapters, the channel where history gets messy, hilarious, and uncomfortably real. We dive into the past with sharp storytelling, dark humor, and a modern twist. If you love history that feels alive and occasionally awkward, you're in the right place. You wake up in 1895, but not in your own bed, not even in your own country. The sheets are stiff. The pillows smell faintly of lavender stuffed with something that might actually be hay, and the first thing you notice is how quiet it is. No cars, no morning alarms, no distant hum of air conditioners. Just the faint clop of hooves somewhere outside, and the occasional cough of someone who's been smoking cigars since birth. You sit up, and that's when it hits you. You're not you. You're a dollar princess. Congratulations, your life is now a business deal dressed up in lace. Your parents back in America, flush with railroad or steel money, have just auctioned you off to an aristocratic family in Britain, where the castles are gorgeous but the roofs leak and the family silver has been pawned 3 times over. The room around you is basically the Pinterest dream of every costume drama addict. Heavy curtains, oil portraits of long-dead men who all look like they died angry, and a fireplace that is charming in theory but currently cold because coal costs money. The air is damp, the bed is too hard, and your nightgown looks like it could double as a wedding tent. Welcome to your new life, glamorous poverty with a title attached. When you glance in the mirror, you see a version of yourself that is both ridiculous and terrifying. Your hair has been pinned into some gravity-defying updo that feels like scaffolding for your scalp, and your face has a powdery glaze meant to make you look delicate, but actually just makes you look consumptive. Downstairs, servants are already buzzing around like human Roombas, whispering about you. You are the exotic import, the American bride with cash sewn into your dowry like a walking ATM, and that's the whole point. Your new family didn't want you because you were funny or charming or great at trivia night. They wanted your dad's checkbook. So what's the actual job description of a dollar princess? Spoiler, it's not sipping champagne while lounging on velvet cushions. Your career path is basically being a living mannequin in gowns that weigh more than a toddler, while smiling so hard your jaw could file for workers' comp. First thing in the morning, you're laced into a corset by a maid who has absolutely no sympathy for your ribs. She yanks those laces like she's starting a lawnmower, and you're left gasping for air, convinced this is how you die. Forget yoga or Pilates. Your daily core workout is simply not fainting before breakfast. Speaking of breakfast, don't get too excited. Sure, the dining room looks gorgeous, with gilded mirrors and a chandelier that could crush you instantly if it ever fell. But the food? Welcome to a land where eggs are overboiled, meat is gray, and flavor is basically a rumor. You sit at a long table where conversation is polite but so dry it could desiccate your soul. You take dainty bites because heaven forbid someone notices you're actually hungry. Eat too much and you're a glutton. Eat too little and you're delicate. Which is good until you faint in public and everyone gossips for weeks. Your mornings are often filled with obligations that feel like side quests from a particularly boring video game. Writing letters, lots of them. Thank you notes, invitations, little polite, oh how lovely messages to people you secretly can't stand. Your handwriting is supposed to look like angel feathers, but your wrist aches like you've been live tweeting a season finale. Then come fittings with dressmakers who pin, poke, and prod you like you're a Barbie doll. You can't slouch, you can't complain, and if you dare suggest maybe this gown is uncomfortable, the answer is always the same. Fashion is pain, my lady. Afternoons, endless. There's tea, of course. Lukewarm liquid in fragile cups while you sit perfectly straight in chairs designed by sadists. You talk about horses, weather, and the scandal of someone daring to serve the wrong kind of cucumber sandwich. Every word is monitored, every laugh measured. Imagine a Zoom meeting that lasts 5 hours and never ends, except now you're wearing 20 pounds of silk. And then there are the hobbies you're supposed to enjoy. Needlework, which is basically stabbing fabric until your fingers bleed. Piano practice, where you must never play anything scandalously modern. Riding lessons, which sound fun until you remember you are doing it in a corset that doesn't bend. Every activity is about showing grace, discipline, and charm. Basically, proving you're worth the thousands your family paid to get you here. But make no mistake, your real, unspoken job is to produce heirs. Your body isn't yours. It's an investment portfolio. Every tea party, every forced smile, every suffocating corset is just the prelude to the main event. Motherhood under impossible scrutiny. You're not here to have fun. You're here to guarantee the survival of a crumbling aristocracy. And if that doesn't sound like the worst LinkedIn job listing of all time, I don't know what does. Now let's talk about the people you're stuck with, because being a dollar princess isn't just about gowns and corsets. It is about surviving the human zoo that comes with your shiny new title. First, there's your husband. Lord insert title here. On paper, he's impressive. Centuries-old bloodline, family crest with lions and swords, and a castle big enough to lose 3 toddlers in. In reality, he's 35 going on 70, with a receding hairline and a permanent scowl carved into his face. His idea of romance is not dying during fox hunting and then showing up at dinner smelling like horse sweat and whiskey. Conversation with him is like talking to a Wikipedia page that only updates once a year. He doesn't ask about your day because, let's be real, your day doesn't matter. You are here to look good on his arm and, ideally, give him a son before the roof collapses on the east wing. Then come the in-laws. Your mother-in-law greets you with the warmth of an ice sculpture and immediately starts criticizing everything. Your accent, your posture, the way you laugh too loud. "So American," she hisses, as if it's a contagious disease. Your father-in-law is friendlier, but mostly because he's distracted by financial panic. He knows you are the family's lifeline, the human piggy bank sent to refill their accounts. He thanks you with tight smiles while making sure the butler orders new silver now that the American funds have arrived. Society at large isn't much kinder. The other aristocratic wives see you as competition, but not in a fun, let's go shopping way, more like sharks circling in lace. At balls, they'll compliment your gown with daggers hidden in their words. "Oh, what a bold color. Very American." Translation: they hate it. They hate you. But they're too polite to say it directly, so everything comes out in the kind of passive aggression that could fuel its own energy grid. And don't forget the servants. They see everything. They know when your husband stumbles home drunk at 2 a.m., when you sneak sweets from the kitchen, when you cry alone in your dressing room. They gossip in whispers faster than Twitter threads, and half the household knows your business before you've even done it. If Downton Abbey taught us anything, it's that the staff has a front row seat to your downfall. Occasionally, there are allies. Maybe another American bride who also got shipped overseas and is just as miserable as you. You exchange whispered jokes at the edge of the ballroom, bonding over how insane it is that your entire existence revolves around maintaining decorum. Sometimes even your lady's maid takes pity on you, loosening the corset a notch when nobody's looking. But these tiny rebellions don't change the fact that you're constantly being watched, graded, and whispered about. Every person you interact with is either waiting for you to slip up or depending on you to save them. No pressure. Just smile wider, laugh softer, and remember, the walls have ears, the human kind. When the sun dips and the last crumbs of tea cakes are swept away, that's when the castle changes. Daytime is all chatter, clinking china, and stiff smiles. Nighttime? That's when the walls start breathing. Drafts whistle through cracks in the windows like ghostly sighs, the candles sputter in their sconces, and every corridor feels like the set of a horror movie before the jump scare. You were expected to glide through it all like you were starring in your own gothic romance. But really, you're just trying not to scream when the floorboards creak behind you. You climb into bed in a room so cavernous it feels like sleeping in a cathedral, and instead of comfort, the silence is deafening. No traffic outside, no street lamps, no comforting glow from a neighbor's window, just pure pitch-black dark, broken only by the dull orange flicker of a dying fire. You hear rats scuttling behind the paneling, wings of bats scratching against the shutters, and you wonder if the portraits of grim ancestors are judging you from the walls. Spoiler, they definitely are. But the real fear isn't at what is creeping in the shadows, it's what people might say about you. Reputation in 1895 is more fragile than crystal goblets. One wrong look, one whispered rumor, and your entire social existence shatters. If a maid tells her cousin that you spent too long chatting with the wrong man at dinner, tomorrow the whole county believes you're a scandal waiting to happen. If you fail to host the perfect dinner, if your husband drinks too much in public, if you so much as stumble stepping out of a carriage, you're not just embarrassed. You're socially executed. Imagine living with the pressure of Instagram-level perfection, but instead of losing followers, you lose respectability, your friends, and possibly your home. And then there's the husband. Maybe he's late coming home from whatever aristocratic nonsense he's doing, reeking of whiskey and entitlement. He slams doors, he stumbles around, he expects you to smile and endure. You don't really have the luxury of saying no. That is the kind of danger nobody talks about at those glittering balls, the private kind that comes with vows you never truly agreed to. Medicine doesn't exactly help. Got a fever? They'll bleed you. Got depression. So after all the corsets, the gossip, the rat-infested castles, and the suffocating silences, you're left asking, why does this even matter? Why should anyone care about a bunch of rich girls shipped overseas to marry dusty old lords with castles falling apart faster than their hairlines? The answer is because it wasn't just about one unlucky bride. It was about an entire system, a transatlantic business transaction dressed up as romance. Families in America had the money but not the pedigree. Families in Europe had the titles but not the cash. Put them together, and you get a grotesque kind of balance sheet in human form. And you're the balance. You're the profit margin. You're the walking, talking bailout package for centuries of aristocratic overspending. But the irony is brutal. These marriages looked glamorous in the newspapers, painted as fairy tales where Yankee heiresses became duchesses overnight. The truth was closer to a reality show you can't quit. Endless pressure, miserable relationships, and the crushing weight of being valued more for your bank account than your personality. You are not remembered for your wit or your courage or your favorite book. You were remembered for the dowry you brought and the son you produced. It's the kind of identity theft you can't fight against, because your entire existence is rewritten the moment you sign that marriage contract. Still, these dollar princesses mattered because they cracked open the old class systems. Money bought its way into castles, into titles, into ancient families who once swore they'd never dirty themselves with commerce. Suddenly, new money was the lifeblood of old blood. It reshaped the way people thought about power. The aristocracy wasn't untouchable anymore. They were just expensive. And it proved that wealth, even if vulgar and loud and American, could knock down doors centuries of tradition had locked shut. And maybe that's the lesson that lingers. Strip away the gowns, the chandeliers, the castles with drafty halls, and what's left? Humans trading status, security, and influence like it's all just another currency. It's not that different from today. Maybe you're not marrying a duke, but you're still scrolling through Instagram, watching people flex designer bags, luxury vacations, and blue check marks like digital titles. People still buy their way into relevance, only now it's through brand deals, not baronies. We haven't killed the game. We just changed the playing field. So when you think about it, waking up as a dollar princess in 1895 isn't so far from waking up in 2025 with the endless grind of keeping up appearances. The castles are gone, but the pressure's still here. The whispers, the judgments, the unspoken competition. It's all the same story in different clothes. The only question is, would you survive it? Would you play the game, smile through the pain, and cash in your life for status? Or would you break it all apart, scandalize society, and choose your own messy, imperfect freedom? So, would you make it out alive? Or would history chew you up and spit you out in lace gloves and a broken corset?